Alright, what's going on everybody? This is Z, so to hear back to a brand new video. First off, happy Thanksgiving. I am recording this on Thanksgiving Day, the 27th of November. I'm going to do this on the day of Tuesday on this week, but that day was Friendsgiving, so after work I came home and cooked for another 2 or 3 hours, and then went over to some friend's house and had a wonderful time eating Thanksgiving, turkey, ham, chicken, mashed potatoes, green bean casserole, etc., etc. Then Wednesday, of course, is my Dungeons and Dragons night, where I play make believe pretty much with my friends as well. And so I wasn't able to do it those 2 nights, but it is Thursday. Got the day off, as almost everyone does. Um, those of you watching on Thanksgiving or the days following, hope you guys enjoy time with family. Um, comment down below how many plates you eat. I need to see at least 5 from some of you guys. That's the minimum we're going is 5 plates of food today. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into this week. Previous week, college football. It was really awesome week. I think every week is an awesome week. Let's get into it. Rutgers playing Ohio State. No shock here. Ohio State gets it done. 42 out of 9. X. A&M and Georgia both have easy games after hard-fought victories against two teams that are both only one win out of over 10. A&M wins 48-0. Georgia wins 35-3. A lot of people are complaining about these two teams playing small teams, but again, it is kind of a break before rivalry week. And these two schools, Charlotte and Sanford, are getting a lot of money to play this team, which is critical money for their programs to stay alive and have money. So I think it's a good thing. USC and Oregon, this was a big game. USC, if they won this game, they would control their own destiny and very likely would have made the college football playoff. However, they now fall to 8-3 and are pretty much guaranteed out of the playoff this year as Oregon handles business pretty handily, 42-27. This is a big win for Oregon. They're definitely pretty much locked into the college football playoff. And it's a really good win on their resume. Missouri and Oklahoma. This is a defensive battle. Oklahoma continues to struggle despite getting John Mateer back, but their defense is one of the best in the nation. They shine. Even though Missouri got its quarterback back, I believe. 2 interceptions on the day, no touchdowns for him. John Mateer, however, rushed for 60 yards. That's pretty good. They absolutely shut down Amon Hardy, which is Missouri's running back, one of the top 5 running backs in the nation in terms of total yards. They shut him down. And Missouri goes scoreless in the second half. Final score is 17-6. This game seemed to be all Missouri at first, in a way. The Oklahoma offense was doing nothing, and they had like an 85-yard passing play, and I believe they had a pick 6 as well. So that second quarter really came over on its heels and changed the outcome of the game. It looked like all Missouri at first. They were driving, weren't finishing plays, but Oklahoma couldn't even get a first down, and then all of a sudden, boom, the flip switch, and it was over from there. Syracuse and Notre Dame, no shock here. Notre Dame again continues to dominate and destroy anyone they play, 70-7. Their 2 losses are to Miami and A&M. A&M being one of the 1 remaining undefeated teams in the nation. So 2 quality losses. They will definitely make the playoffs, and they didn't look like a very different team than they did in the game of the season. Jeremiah Love, arguably the best running back in the nation, arguably one of the best players in the entire nation, period. He continues to demolish. The score right here, it was 28-0 before Notre Dame even got the ball on offense. 2 pick sixes, a fumble recovery or something, and then a kick return. 3 interceptions for a quarterback. It was a tough game to watch if you're a Syracuse fan. The Notre Dame defense was looking insane. Houston, Illinois didn't even know this was a school. Playing Alabama 56-0. No shock there. Justin only had no touchdowns though, and 2 interceptions. Interesting. I don't know that. So he did not play very well. But of course they're playing nobody. BYU versus Cincinnati. Cincinnati at one point was ranked and was looking to maybe challenge for the Big 12, and that has not happened. And they have lost the last 2 or 3 games, maybe even a couple in a row. And they fall 26-14. BYU Big win for them because they pretty much got to win out if they want and get into the playoffs. Kansas State, again having a down year playing Utah. They were up big time. You see in that second quarter, they scored 24 points. And in that second half, Utah roars back with 16 in the fourth and steals away the win to remain at 9-2. A big win if they want to make the playoffs, 51-47. Miami playing Virginia Tech, 35-17. Carson Beck had himself a pretty good game. Only missed 5 passes, 320 yards, and 4 touchdowns. They win 35-17. Miami pretty much is the highest ranking ACC team, but they will not be making the ACC Conference Championship, so they need some teams to lose if they want to make the playoffs. Kentucky and Vandy. Kentucky has played a lot of teams that are better than Vanderbilt, much closer. However, Vandy handles them easily, 45-17. Diego Pavia has one of his probably best games of the year. Missing only 6 passes out of 39, almost 500 yards, passing in 5 touchdowns, including also 48 rushing yards. Insane. Pittsburgh takes down Georgia Tech, who falls to 9-2, 6-2, and is now effectively out of the ACC playoff championship race, which means they are probably also out of the playoffs entirely. After being a top 5 team in the nation, they have fallen on their butts. Their defense is a horrible defense. They have a great offense, but their defense is horrible. And Pittsburgh gets a huge win, 8-3, and they're 6-1 in the ACC, and definitely could be making the ACC championship, and maybe a playoff spot. We'll see. Texas plays Arkansas. I picked this was going to be a close game, and Texas would pull away late. I was wrong. This was a utter smackdown, 52-37. Arkansas has a great offense. In fact, their quarterback Taylor Green was benched in return for the backup freshman, who played even better. He was really impressive against really good Texas defense. They have a pretty good quarterback with him. But Arch Manning shines, 18 out of 30, 389 yards, 4 touchdowns. Texas finally, I think, of all year, they only had 2 passes that went for between 2 to 40 yards. In this game alone, they had about 5 of those. It was utter smackdown. Again, they're playing one of the worst defenses in the entire nation, so obviously they're going to score a lot of points. But they look good. Michigan and Maryland, 45-20. No shock here. Tennessee and Florida. Shockingly, Florida does not keep this game close. Tennessee gets their revenge from last year, 31-11. Illinois and Wisconsin, again, I don't know why Illinois was ranked back in the top 25. Every time they played a team that's anywhere decent, they've been smacked. They got beat by Indiana by like 60 points. They got beat by Ohio State by like 28, 30 points. So again, I mentioned this last video. It was absolutely ridiculous that they were back in the top 25. They play Wisconsin, a team who's 4-7, only 2 and it was only one win team in the Big Ten, and they get smacked 27-10. They had no reason to be in the top 25. And really frustrating that the committee decided to put them in here, and I was proven correct. They got smacked. Please keep them out of the top 25. Houston, in the top 25 for the first time, and they lose it. They lose to TCU, 17-14, and fall to 8-3 and 5-3 in the Big 12. Tulane getting a win against Temple. They are the highest ranking. Again, it's the highest ranking conference champions. One group of 5 team, and Tulane right now is the one in, and they get a big win. They're 9-2 in the season, and they very much control their own destiny, getting a playoff spot. Now, when they get in the playoffs, will they get their butts whooped? Probably. But hey, 37-13. Playoffs are in sight. Arizona State smacks Colorado, who is now 1-7, 3-8 in the Big 12. 42-17. Before we go into the rankings, go ahead and go into stats. Drew Messmaker from UNT is number 1. His coach, if you guys didn't know, recruited Patrick Mahomes to Texas Tech. He developed Cam Ward and is now the coach at UNT and has turned this freshman walk-on into the number 1 passing quarterback in the entire nation. And this head coach, I believe the last name was Morris, just took the job at Oklahoma State And very likely, Westmaker will probably, being a freshman, will transfer with him to Oklahoma State. This guy, from being a walk-on to come to Oklahoma State, if he does good at Oklahoma State, he could very well find himself in the NFL draft and change his entire life. That'd be really awesome. Behind him is FAU, guy from SU, Connecticut, Baylor, and Delaware. So Baylor guy's still in there. Rushing wise, Hardy, despite having a horrible game last week, is still in the top 5. Jeremiah Love is racing up. He's been absolutely tearing it up. Cassius Howe from A&M, he is fantastic. He's one of the best defensive linemen in the entire nation. 11.5. Receiving wise, only one guy from the big school, Makai Leonard's UNT guy, with Texas, obviously with one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. Makes sense. Let's go into next week. Let's go into rankings first. What changed after this past week? The top 5 do not change. Okay, we're looking at the college football rankings over here. The AP no longer matters at all. Oregon jumps Ole Miss 1 spot. The remainder of the top 11 remain the same. Miami jumps Utah. Benny stays the same. Michigan jumps 3 spots to 15. Texas gets a win and jumps 1 spot, 16, as USC falls down 2. Virginia's moving up to 18. Tennessee's moving up to 19. Arizona State moves up 5 to number 20. SMU and Pittsburgh at 8 and 3 are also ranked after not being ranked previously. Georgia Tech still in the top 25, but falls 7 spots. Tulane stays at itself 24, and Arizona, not ranked, moves in. So a lot of ACC teams and Big 12 teams are now in here, moving up towards the bottom. Dropping oddly was Illinois, Missouri, and Houston. Let's go into next week. This is big time rivalry. This is hate week. And a lot of these games will dictate who makes the playoffs. The Bell game. Almost every single one of these games ends in a fight at some point. Ole Miss versus Mississippi State. So definitely bet on there being a fight on this game, the over-under, if you're a gambler. It's going to be in Starkville. Utah and Kansas. At Kansas. Georgia and Georgia Tech. Now, I thought at the end of the season that these two teams might face with very little losses. Like Georgia Tech, if I would have guessed that Georgia Tech would be coming in this game undefeated and be one of the top 5 teams in the nation. But I was wrong. They're 9-2, and they have to win this game. If they win this game, they very well could be back in the playoffs. This would be a huge pickup game for them and could thrust them back into the playoffs. But if they lose this game, they are definitely out. And they're going into Athens. So this is going to be a really, really tough game for them to win. UGA is favored by 14 points, 13.5 points. Indiana and Purdue looking to remain undefeated. They're favored by 27.5 points, probably will. Here is the big game. Texas and Texas A&M. Last week you had it. It was at A&M. College Station, one of the most electrifying experiences I've ever seen, even from TV. Texas pulled away late in the defensive game. This game, A&M is favored by 3 points. Texas having a struggling year after being ranked number 1 in the nation. This would be a huge win for them. This would be Texas A&M's first loss on the road. Texas wins this game. Now again, they had 3 losses, but they're definitely the 3-loss team that has the best chance of making the playoffs if they win this game. This would be one of the best pickup wins they've gotten all year, and very well likely could thrust them back into the playoffs. There would be a lot of teams that need to lose, but it is possible. So we'll see again. Texas was playing Arkansas last week, and X-Roll is not a good team. This is one of the best teams in the nation. Much better defense, much better offense. We'll see what happens. Can the defense step up to the challenge to stop Marcelo Reed? Can Arch Manning step up to the challenge to duel Marcelo Reed? Does the offensive line of Texas stop a very, very stout Texas A&M defensive line? Can Texas secondary stop one of the best receiving corps in the entire nation from A&M? We'll see. Arizona and Arizona State. Ranked for probably one of the first times in a very long time, these two teams facing being ranked 25 and 20. The big game. The game of all hate. Ohio State, Michigan. We saw last year Michigan It essentially was a really big upset win. And then Ohio State went on to be a two-loss team, I believe, because they lost to Oregon and Michigan, and they ended up winning the championship. Funny enough, they're favored by 10 points at Michigan. Can Michigan do the unthinkable and knock off number one team in the nation undefeated? We'll see. Texas Tech and West Virginia. At West Virginia. Texas Tech's favored by a lot, though. Pittsburgh and Miami. Again, Miami needs to win this game, or they're out of the playoff. Pittsburgh can win this game, solidify their spot in the ACC championship, and pretty much guarantee a spot if they go on to win the ACC championship. So both teams need this win very badly if they want to be in the playoffs. UCF and BYU shouldn't be really that big of a deal. Oregon and Washington. Washington's having a decent year. They're 8-3, but they're on the road against a really good team. We'll see if they can pull off an upset. LSU and Oklahoma. Oklahoma surprising a lot of people this year. They are doing really good. They're 9-2, 5-2 in the SEC. They beat Alabama. They're playing LSU, who is having a very bad year. I would not be surprised if Oklahoma handles them pretty easily. Vandy and Tennessee. Now, normally this is a game where Tennessee just smacks them. It's a quote-unquote rivalry game, but it's not really ever really been a rivalry because Vanderbilt has, for most of its history, been one of the worst teams in the entire nation. But now Vandy is a really good team, and they're actually ranked ahead of Tennessee, and have had a much better year. Have a Heisman candidate in Diego Pavia. Tennessee's favorite at home by only 3 points, and who knows what's going to happen. This should be a really cool game to watch right there. Virginia and Virginia Tech. Virginia is ranked at 9-2. 6-1 in the ACC. Winning this game will get them in the ACC championship game. Then we got another big game. Arguably one of the two teams that hate each other the most. We really had a guy poison a tree because he hated Auburn, or vice versa. Alabama ranked 10. Auburn not ranked. Only one win in the SEC, but seems to not matter. And it's going to be in Auburn. That these teams always play each other close. Alabama's only favored by 6 points. Can Auburn do the unthinkable? If they beat Alabama, this moves Alabama to 6-2 in the ACC, and they would definitely not make the SEC championship game. They'll be their third loss, and they might be being removed from the college football playoff. I bet Auburn fans would love to do that. UCLA and USC. Charlotte and Tulane. Tulane's favored by 30 points. That's insane. SMU and California. SMU still trying to get into the ACC championship game as well. Notre Dame and Stanford. No. Let's go ahead and go into the standings real quick. Well, Texas and Tulane will probably play each other in the American Conference Championship. Whoever wins that game very likely to go to the playoff. ACC, we got two teams. So out of these three teams, I'm not too sure who has a tiebreaker between the three teams. Texas Tech and BYU will definitely play each other. Will probably like to play each other again. Texas Tech actually walloped BYU. So here's the thing: if Texas Tech and BYU play again, and Texas Tech wallops BYU again, they are probably out of the football playoff. In my opinion, they should be out if they got walloped twice. They should not be in there even with only two losses. Indiana and Ohio State likely will play each other undefeated in the Big Ten championship game, and that is going to be one of the best games of the year. I mean, that's going to be an awesome juggernaut game. It doesn't really matter. Don't really care. Don't really care. Don't really care. SEC. Can A&M finish undefeated for their season, or will Texas knock them out? Either way, they are guaranteed a spot in the Southern SEC championship game. But who will they play? Will Alabama jump Ole Miss and Georgia somehow? I'm pretty sure Georgia's pretty much guaranteed this spot. I think. Yeah, because they're not playing a SEC champion. They're not playing an SEC team, so it's pretty much going to be A&M and Georgia. That's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Last week of the season, rivalry week. It's going to be awesome. A lot of good games. Can't wait to watch. Um, anyways, again, appreciate all the support. Leave a like, enjoy the video, subscribe for more content. As always, this is V23 signing out.